Good day, everybody. The Coastal Boys are back for another preview of the Fairview Polytrack. We race on Monday. They've had their Derby day so far on Friday. A couple of strange results. Horses that were in the vanguard seem to be winning. They were struggling to come from off them, but otherwise all good. And you, Hilt, how you going this week, brother?
Yeah, pulled up all right, eh? No great shakes, eh? There's actually hasn't really been anything that I've been head down on, so hopefully we can find the guys something today.
Perfect. Race 1. Welcome to Nelson Mandela Maiden Juvenile Plate for the fillies, over 1,400 meters. Betting, as always, supplied by soccershop.bet. First to the market. This betting up, I haven't seen any other betting firms betting. I've only seen soccer shops. They're always first to the market. We have Rock Me Mama, 1-3. On the outside, 6-1. Roses for Trex or T-Rex, 7-1. 10-1 Camden Square. Write your own ticket, the rest.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Thanks a lot for the betting. I just thought 1-3 seems a little bit restrictive, but I mean, it looks very hard to beat this horse, Rock Me Mama. So I thought it was 5-10 available. So it's unlike Lance to be keeping one short. Let's just have a quick look here. Yeah, there is 5-10 available in the market. It's obviously he will drift it out. Getting back to matters at hand, this horse Rock Me Mama looks very, very hard to beat on the last run. She's only just touched off by Malibu Ice, which was a good win. So for me, there's not really too much. Most of the horses here are beaten by over 10 lengths in their starts. So, and there's nothing that looks. There's one horse of Allen's unraced, but no, it doesn't look like there's a brown scent for it. So I can't get excited. So I've got to say, hard to beat Richard Ferree.
Fair enough. I understand what you're saying, but this horse has been tardy at the gate, and I've seen them today. I saw them on Friday, which is today, been running from the front. I couldn't be taking a short price. This horse can win, but it can win without my money. Short and sweet for me. I would be having an each way bet on number 7 Roses for T-Rex. Ran behind Obsidian Star on debut. Drawn 5. Craig Zaki on board. He kicked the gate last start. Let's hope she behaves this time. And I think she will trouble the favourite. The second favourite on the outside has had 5 starts. She was behind Obsidian Star as well on the last run. Not on the same day, but she was beaten 14 lengths as well by Obsidian Star. She's held on the Malibu Ice run by Rock Me Mama. Every chance Rock Me Mama. Price a bit restrictive. Looking for a bit of value. Number 7 Roses for T-Rex. Race 2. You can bet on us. Open maiden for all maidens over 1,600 meters. Priceless Treasure, 5-2. Salagadula, 4-1. 4-1 Greenpoint. 10-1 60-0. 10-1 Galactic Beauty. 10-1 I Am Still Winning. 12s and bigger the rest. A trappy race over the mile. The favourite, Priceless Treasure. What an ATM. This is the kind of horse you want to own if you're an owner for the owning stakes and not the punting stakes. She has had 11 runs and never missed the place, but she has never won. She has Craig Zaki back on board. A bit of a jockey strike for me. Drawn 3, does get out of her ground. So that's a slight worry from what I've seen today. She will place. She's a solid place bet, but I wouldn't be diving in to the 5-2. I think she might even drift. Second favourite, Salagadula. Kyle Stradham on board. Rode her last time. She's also drawn well, which also is probably a negative as she comes from last. Last start, she ran a length behind Red Lasser, and she was so wide that day. There was shrewd money for her, and she ran second. The stable of Jacques Stradham and the son riding Kyle, they seem to be doing fairly well. So she could be in a shout-out in the finish, but not for me. The one that I do like is number 8, Greenpoint. Marco van Rensburg on board, drawn 1, goes to the front. Ran second behind Montre Blunt last start. First time on the poly. If he takes to the poly, I think he's a massive runner. That would be my first pick in the race. And I say Price's Treasure should run a place like she always does. And that is generally the race for me.
Yeah, 100%. I've got to concur with you there, Andrew. I think this Priceless Treasure actually deserves to get into the winner's box, being very game. And you could probably argue, although not drawn that wide last time, but previously 11 out of 12 was still a cracking run. So you would expect her to get into the winner's box fairly soon, although obviously nothing with supreme confidence. Aside from that, I would say the interesting jockey engagement for me is Richard Fleury riding for Lunga Gila, our good friend Lunga, on number 4, Galactic Beauty. So for me, it's a bit of an eye-catching jockey strike because he doesn't ride often for Lunga for obvious reasons because he's always engaged with Alan. But for me, this horse is the lurker in the race. So I would respect that. Lunga knows how to tune them up and get them ready. So although at first glance, Galactic would look beat by Priceless Treasure, I think that's a runner. But other than that, I can't get excited about the race. It's quite nice to see Michaela McKell, me being one of her biggest fans here in South Africa, on number 7 Bugle. So I'm hoping that'll run close, but I can't get too excited about anything in the race.
Yeah, a rather thin-looking race. A lot of tried and tested. 1 or 2 drawn badly. Again, I think I like number 8 Green Point. I think the stable's slowly turning the Miller yard. Races from the front. Had his first start behind Montre Blunt. Ran second that day. Wasn't really fancied in the market. I think we might see money to start. And I think we'll run a massive race. Race number 3. Play Soccer 6, 10 and 13. Another open maiden. Over 1,200 meters. The betting. 3-1 Indestructible. 4-1 Five-Field Legend. 5-1 World Soprano. 6-1 Pretty Boy. 7-1 Aaliyah's Rocket. Ends and better.
Oh, another very tough race, Andrew. I wouldn't be able to give anybody any confidence here, but you would assume that the 2 horses, Indestructible and Five-Field Legend, would be the main protagonists. But my lurker in the race would be this horse, Focal Point. I think this Cactus is not a bad trainer for the string that he has. He gets pretty good results for his small string. Only beaten 2 lengths last time, so each way value Focal Point at like 12-1. That would be my lurking shout, but again, another tough race and not a race that I would be selling any valuables on to have a bet. I'll have to leave it to you to find us the winner here.
Well, you might have found the winner. Interesting. Again, you spoke about the jockey booking the race before. Richard Fleury riding for the Jurgen van Heerden yard.
Yes.
I can't recall whenever he did ride this horse on debut and was beaten 10 lengths. He's now back after 3 starts. Seems to have improved. Drawn 4. Must have every chance. But not a trainer I would be diving in at 3-1. I think they'll bet 4-5-1 the field. The second favourite, Five-Field Legend, is a juvenile. Running in open company. Hasn't been able to get his nose in front just yet. Olaf the Stout. He ran down Olaf the Stout. There's a horse running today there's a horse running on Friday that also ran behind Olaf the Stout. So I'd have to see how that goes. For me, the sprint races, the juveniles, I think still struggle. I do give Focal Point a chance. And my lurker in the race is number 12 without hesitation. John Nell, Cacchetti on board, drawn 2. 3 races on the poly. Never missed a place. Ran behind Lana View. Lana View won quite easily that day. I think it was about 4 lengths. And he was only 5 lengths behind over 1,400. Dropping back in trip to the 1,200. Ran behind Mystical Butterfly last time. Drawn 2. That's the big plus for me. I think we'll race Andy. And I would be having an each way bet on that. Not a race that I'd be getting fully involved in. I can see we're getting us a spook in this race. And just the interesting booking of Richard on Indestructible. But I think we found 2 roughies that have big chances in an open-looking field if you look beyond the top of the mark. Race 4. Doesn't get easier.
That's for
Tab
sure.
Racing, merit-rated, 82 handicap, over 1,200 meters. Probably one of the better races on the day. 3-1 Hurrik Kracher, 4-1 Tripping Thunder, 4-1 War of Dynamite, 5-1 Revilius, Chocolate Bomb, 6-1 North Star, 10s and better the rest. her last three starts. Polly, 3 races, a win in 2 seconds. She must have every chance, but she doesn't know how to get her nose down. She comes from off them, slow away. Another nice horse to own. She did win a decent race, beating Jabasana over 1400. Again, she drops in trip. I'm not sure if it's the right distance. Tripping Thunder, you have to forgive her last start, his last start. Something went wrong behind Lotus Silk. Raced very handy that day. Another loves the Polly, 3 starts, 2 wins and a 4th. The blinkers remain on. The run behind Lotus Silk was on the turf, which didn't suit. Then we have Revilius, who flew last start with Carl Stradom on board. They got the money last start. Was backed in from 10 to 1 to 4 to 1. Again, drawn 2. Comes from behind, so I'm not sure that's the ideal draw. War of Dynamite was the wrong one in the betting for me. I didn't think he would be as short as 4 to 1. I think he deserves to be much bigger. He has won over course and distance. He has got a second and 2/3 over course and distance. But I still believe he is the wrong price, and I think will drift on the day. Out of it, for me, Urikwacha is a semi-class act in the race, but doesn't get home. So I'm going to have to be going with number 2, Tripping Thunder. Chad Little on board, coming out of Stallgate, number 8 for Jean now.
Yeah, I must concur, Andrew. Well summarized. I also quite like Tripping Thunder. At first glance, you would also think Urikwacha the one to beat. But if you have a deeper look, I mean, this horse, Tripping Thunder, actually wasn't a bad horse here in Durban. I mean, 2 lengths Circumbendibus, excellent run, beat Victor Hugo, 2 lengths United Nation, excellent form, and then went to PE and won 2 on the bounce. So I don't know what happened last time. It's his handy no finish coming back from a rest. So albeit second run after the rest now, I still give him quite a decent chance. So that would probably be my danger to Urikwacha. And then I've got another lurker that I thought had a chance here. This horse has come from Joburg, Kwacha Blitz. First run from relocating. I rate Cliffy Miller as a trainer, and he gets him ready. Just a slightly wide draw, but that 1 length Savannah come would put him in with a decent chance. I think that's probably a serious runner as well. A horse like Chocolate Bomb, I think at 1200 might be a touch far for him. Not an easy race. I've got to concur with what you said as well. A few horses here, they look like they've got more problems than Michael Jackson, like Ombudsman. So I really not too sure other than that.
Just got to forgive Tripping Thunder's last run on the turf against Lotus Silk, and I think he's a massive runner. Tricky race, but a competitive race, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Race 5, F Fillies and Mares, 66 handicap. Back to the 1,000 meters. The betting is Daffodil Delight, 5 to 2. 4 to 1 Moscow Miss. 5 to 1 Winter on the Green. 7 to 1 Got the Fever, Piton Denige. 8 to 1 Japanese Garden isn't better the rest.
Yeah, another tough race here, Andrew. At first glance, you would think Daffodil Delight would be the one to beat, but it seems like they're just passing Alan Creef's horses up favourite without even having a proper look. Drawn a bit wide. Took a while to win a maiden. Sorry, after its first start, it took a few runs, hasn't done much. Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited about taking like 16 to 10 this horse. But I found a bit of a lurker for us here, this horse, Winter of the Green. With decent runs in Cape Town. Last time only beaten 1.65 lengths to Yui. So led and tired. I think this horse will run close back to 1,000 meters. So I quite fancy a Winter of the Green at a bit of a decent price. Guys can get like 9, 10 to 1 Winter of the Green. I'd say that's the each way value. But again, not an easy race. That would be my shout. I'll have to leave it to you, the professor, to elaborate more on this one.
Certainly. The highest rated horse in the race is Daffodil Delight. Actually, well handicapped. But another one, she is a juvenile going over the 1,000 meters. Another one that's been slow away on 3 starts. She did run 4 lengths behind Marchand, who's probably one of the better horses in juveniles in Portland, and we've said this a few times. She ran in the nursery last time. She wasn't the stable elect. Richard Free jumps back on today. She must have every chance. She ran behind Morphelia in a 68 handicap race. Morphelia ran today. Was running on, but never really got there. She had a mouth injury that day. She deserves to be favoured, but I think this is probably going to be a 4-1 field race. Moscow Miss with Fondlino and Stallone, Naidu on board. Drawn 4, likes to lead. One run on the track, one place. So there is going to be pace in the race. That's why I found a lurker. As you said, you've also found a lurker. I like number 10, Piton Denise. Cachedi on board, drawn 11. Actually ran in the same race as yours behind the beat yours that you fancy, a Yui. The negative is the draw, but she does run on late. I hope they will be able to run on Monday because they've been struggling today. I think a nice lurker, a nice each-way bet, one of my each-way bets for the day. She's very consistent of late. She's had 3 wins at the course, 2 course and distance wins, multiple places over course and distance. And I think probably going to take a power of beating if she gets runs on. She's got to run on. And there'll be so much pace, I cannot see her not doing that. So for me, I can't elaborate further. Piton Denise means snow peak. It's a volcano. And let's hope she erupts on Monday. Sorry, I forgot another one that I might mention. If it comes in, I do give it a chance. Number 13, Ice Marmalade, is a reserve runner. She has decent form as well. She's a 3-year-old out of the non-platina. Currently, at the moment, she is a reserve runner. But if she does race, I do put her in with a shout. She ran down Will Ferrer last start. She beat World Soprano, game to the front. More pace. All I see in this race is pace. So we've gone for 2 closers, and let's hope we are correct.
Perfect.
Race 6, merit rated 78 handicap over 1,400 meters. Mr. Boone, this horse runs every week. 4-1 Sylvanian, 4-1 Thundermaster, 5-1 Kingdom of Heaven, 6-1 King Sailor, 7-1 God in the Wall, 10s and better the rest. 10-1 Richard Ferree on Arabian Red. Very rarely do you get double price Richard Ferree. Trappy race, Sylvanian, Garish Ducat on board. I think it's Garish Ducat, I could be pronouncing it incorrectly. A 4-kilogram claimer. Should be shorter in the betting, in my opinion, but has the claimer on board. And I can see him starting favourite. Thundermaster, super consistent. Jock Stradum, again with Carl Stradum on board. Dropping in trip. Interesting, they did this the other day and they went for a touch and I think they were a bit unlucky. I think they ran second. Again, dropping in trip. He's been campaigning over much further. Ran 1900, beating Steeler. 2000 beat Heliotrope, who fluffed his lines today. He was very disappointing, Heliotrope, today on Friday. Sylvanian, course and distance, 3 runs, 2 wins, and a second. If the Appy can handle this horse, I think he is the horse to beat. Of the rest, Mr. Boone, your bird is riding. Claiming 1.5, 53.5, drawn 3. Another horse has forgotten how to win, hasn't won for nearly 250 days. The distance, 8 starts for 2 places. I struggle with that horse. I thought the only positive would be the lightweight of 53.5. Another roughie I thought had a squeak would be Guarding the Wall. Chase Marjan on board carrying 54.5 as 1 over course and distance. Multiple places as well. King Sailor Jarnell with Weber on board, drawn 5. I would have liked to have seen a stronger jockey on board that to give that a squeak. But I think it all revolves around number 1 for me. Sylvanian or the Smith Yard with the Appy on board.
Yeah, I've got to agree
Give
with
us
you
some
on
of
that.
your wisdom, Yorkshire.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Well summarized. Sylvanian, obviously the one to beat. On a direct line through on that 1 run to Kingdom of Heaven, they ran close. Obviously beat Kingdom of Heaven. But I think Kingdom of Heaven is probably the value in the race at a bit of 6-1. I think the horse should be a touch shorter than that. I mean, if you give him his last run, 3.5 lengths Zenovi, what price would Zenovi be here? So for me, from a drawn on the paint, I think this horse is probably a toss-up between that and the favourite as my first choice in the race. So I think that would be the value. And then obviously I'm hoping for Michaela Mikkel. At least they're starting to take note of how good she is, flying her down to PE. So hopefully she gets more chances. Hospice de Bern is I think it's got a cell phone that runs every week. So yeah, I don't know. That's hopefully got a chance here for her. But I can't get too excited about anything else. I do give the one you mentioned, guarding the wall, a little bit of a squeaker, but my lurker would be, or my value in the race, I should say, Kingdom of Heaven. And I am more happy with him with Alan bringing Arabian Red back to 14. I think 16, the last two starts have been a touch far, faded right out. But on his day, her day, she can run. So I wouldn't leave her out of the mix, but not an easy race again.
Horses are quite intelligent. I think they nominate themselves every week. Hospice,
Yeah.
the Bourne, one
Yeah,
of
they
them,
got cell phones.
Salagaduna also been running very frequently.
Some of these horses have got cell
maybe
phones. They're phone.
Yeah,
All
interesting
right.
race. Race number 7, Tab 4 Racing app classified stakes over the mile. We have joint favourites: 7-2 Burning Man and Golden Grey, 4-1 Nautical Landing, 6-1 Alado's Pride, 6-1 O Space O, 7-1 Supreme Judge, 10s and better.
Not an easy race. Ruth. Again, I know we're sounding like stuck records, but unfortunately, it's a moderate bunches that are running in most of these races. I think your horse that you tipped last time was very stiff. Or the last two starts, you've said it'd be in the shake-up, and you weren't wrong. Nautical Landing, and I'm hoping for Michaela this will be a winner on the day. So I think this horse will make them gallop. She's gutsy, and Zitzman's stable looks like it's turning the corner. Led no extra over 14 last time. I don't know whether the touch further would suit, but claiming 1.5 gender allowance, but you're getting a top jock with a claimer. So I don't know. I think my first choice would be Nautical Landing. And I think the style of running will suit because it would go handy, although she can win from anywhere, as she proved at Greyville the other day. They are not an easy race, Andrew. I can't really get excited other than to say I'd probably have a decent little nibble, not a big bet, but a little nibble on Nautical Landing to win here.
They've left the money twice on the table. They've backed this horse twice and it hasn't got home. Maybe the claimer will help Top Jockey. I think they got the betting wrong. I don't think Golden Grey should be favourites. I'm going to NFM, not for me. I just think it's the free factor. Has one over course and distance. Ran by dropping in trip from 2,000 metres back to the mile. Drawn 6. Got beaten by a horse called Valaria Mumbo, who's running on Friday. See what happens there. But not for me, Golden Grey. I think probably will start 5-6-1. I think the horse that do have to beat is the favourite, Burning Man. I think that'll probably start much shorter. And a cracking race behind Cheerful Charlie B last time with the blinkers applied. Second run blinkers. Back on the poly where he ran a length behind Flash Lightning. A drawn 5. Chad Little, Jean-Nel, stable in form. Chad riding well. That would be my first pick in the race. And if I was looking for something roughish, would be O Space O, Cliffy Miller again. Marco van Rensburg on board, drawn 7. Didn't quicken over the mile. Lost start behind Klainsey. But before that, ran half a length behind Donny's Boy. 4 runs, a win, and 2 seconds over the course and distance. So there's every chance. And that would be the race for me. As I said, not for me, Golden Grey. I think the favourite will be hard to beat. We should start shorter, Burning Man. And I think my roughie in the race would be number 9, O Space O. Anything else from your side there? What did you think?
No. Andrew, I also think Burning Man's a runner. But he wasn't a bad horse here in Durban. I know he's been in PE a while, but definitely this horse can gallop from the front, so I would respect him. And he was only just beaten last time. 1 length last time, 1 length the previous start. So serious, definitely a runner. I can be with you on that. But not an easy race. Nothing I would get too excited about.
Last race of the day. Hopefully you can be investing and making more money, or lucky last to try and get out of it, like everyone says. Fillies and Mares, 76 handicap over 1,900 metres. The betting is as such: 2-1 Homing Pigeon, 3-1 Flight Display, 4-1 Green Isle, 1 Hack Montera, 7-1 Preserve Forever, and better the rest. My best bet on the day, I think, will take a power of beating, and that would be number 6, the favourite, with Richard Ferry on board, for Alan Cruyff. Absolutely won quite convincingly last time, even though the 400 to finish was very quick. That was over 2,200, dropping slightly to 1,900. I do see pace in the race, which will suit. And for me, I think the best bet on the day. I just think the profile of those horses is excellent. One run on the poly, one win on the poly. I'm not worried about the dropping trip. I think there's enough pace in the race. And of the rest, I think number 10, Preserve Forever, I would include in the trifecta. Second run blinkers, 1 over course and distance, 2 places over course and distance. Carries 52 with Muzieni on board. But I think they're going to struggle to beat Homing Pigeon in the last, number 6.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. I also thought this horse was, run close up quite a few times in Cape Town. I actually surprised she took so long to win, and she had to go to Fairview to win a maiden, which was quite surprising. But anyway, she pulverized him there. She can't really fault her. Then 5 lengths, another dance for me is highly, as we all know, is highly rated. And last time, excellent win from drawn 10 out of 11. Although she drifted all like a barge, still got up to win. I thought an excellent race as well. I concur there. Yeah, decent over ground. I'm not worried about slightly backing trip. It's still a race over ground, so that's not really going to affect. And she has one on the poly, so it all looks, as they say, our Durban presenters, all rooms facing the sea. So I think hard to beat.
Yeah, an interesting card on Monday, and hopefully we've pointed you in the right direction. And hopefully we'll be back on Monday previewing the Kenilworth card for Tuesday. But again, they seems like they've had chunks of rain there and all around the country. I mean, the only place I think is dry as Durban.
And Andrew, for the boys, sorry to interject, for the boys that are interested in Gravel, we got one in the 4th race called 8 on 18. They're slapping the blinkers on, and apparently they've got the horse right. There's been an avalanche of money for him. I'm tipping him to be hard to beat.
Fair enough. 8 on 18 for the Saturday meeting at Gravel.
Correct.
Thanks, Hilton. Interesting card, as I said. I think we've previewed it quite decently. Stay safe, have a good weekend, and be lucky.
Thanks, Andrew. You too. Thanks, Andrew. Cheers, guys. Happy punting.